Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Philip Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and today we're going to talk about episode 31 of season 7 of Adventure Time for Suki Nihon. This episode is called I Am a Sword. Yikes. This episode is actually pretty hilarious. It starts out with Finn and Jake chasing after a bandit princess. I think they're chasing after the bandit princess in the beginning of it. Oh wait, no, they're chasing after a bandit, and Finn's all like, I'm gonna go find them, tell them why this is wrong, and then beat the knowledge in there. Get that knowledge in there. Anyways, he's playing around with his sword, his Finn sword, that we got from Who Are You? I think was the name of that episode, the one where they saved Prismo from his using time warps in quantum physics. They saved Prismo from being dead. And because of that, Finn, one incarnation of Finn, is now a sword. And Finn's been carrying around this sword, as well as using his grass sword sometimes, and he was playing around with the sword, and then he loses it. And they can't find it. And he starts getting these weird dreams where he's seeing things from the perspective of the sword. Anywho, turns out, well, actually, he starts having those nightmares about it. He tells Jake. Jake's like, well, because, Jake is incredibly supportive, but also incredibly insensitive about things. Not really, like, all together there. Anywho, this one's actually pretty funny. We got to see Science Cat again, who's now hanging out with Spear Bear. We got to see the Village of the Spiky People again. And we got introduced to a new character named Bandit Princess. Bandit Princess is voiced by Amy Sedaris, who you might know from, she's one of the major main characters in the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and she's a well-known comedian, does a lot of voice acting. Another voice acting thing you might have seen her in is BoJack Horseman on Netflix. Anywho, she's the one who has Finn's sword, and she's been using it to terrorize people. A couple things to note: the sword can talk. The Box Kingdom is shown again. The kingdom run by the Box Prince and all those cats. That was a great episode. I liked the Box Kingdom. This episode is really funny. There's a lot of on-point one-liners and quips. It's just great. Anywho, Finn catches up to the Bandit Princess, and they have a fight. Finn using his grass sword, and Bandit Princess using the Finn sword, which can talk, by the way. It does not consent to the stuff that it's being used for, which is disturbing in its own right. But Finn uses his grass sword to fight, and then he accidentally, because of her parrying, he smashes the grass sword blade right through the heart of the Finn sword, and a piece of his grass sword breaks off inside of the Finn sword, and Finn faints from the shock of this, because it's like he's killed a piece of himself, or a future version of himself, or a past version of himself. I'm not really sure. And he just kind of like falls unconscious. Finn gets beaten, and the Bandit Princess gets away, and then at the end of the episode, Jake and BMO are putting Jake is putting the sword up. He has Finn resting, and BMO's like, why are people bad? And Jake's kind of like, well, that's just kind of the way it is. Anyways, they put the sword up on the mantle, and then the last image that you see is the sword glowing a little green. Now, Finn's grass sword, due to the whole curse, and due to it also being a part of him replacing his previous arm, can regenerate. And this ends on a cliffhanger. It's funny throughout. It's a really funny episode, but it gets real serious in like the last 2 or 3 minutes. And I think we're probably headed toward like a double Finn situation here, or it'll just fix the sword and we'll have some type of weird conglomeration, combination of the fin sword and the grass sword. Maybe like a green version of it or something. I have no idea where they're going with that. And I'm intrigued. Brand new character with Bandit Princess, and interesting implications with the fin sword. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this, and hopefully they won't leave us hanging. I think the next episode is called The Music Hole or something like that. So who knows? If that's a filler episode, I'm going to be like... But it probably won't be. Hopefully. The fingers crossed and stuff. Overall, really good episode. Solidly funny throughout. Lots of quips and one-liners. I'm not going to spoil those. Go watch them yourselves. I mean, yeah, we do talk spoilers here, but I'm not going to spoil the jokes. Half the fun of the show is watching the show. Okay? So, if you haven't really watched the show yet, go watch the show and come back. And then talk about it in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, until the next video comes out, you are now caught up.